all through history, we've heard of the Great Wall. The Great Wall of China. What was the reason for the building of the Great Wall of China? And they say it was built on the backs of a lot of people, and that for at least 100 people died for every mile of its construction. And it took a lot of time to build. It wasn't something they built in a generation. It was several generations. The whole concept behind the Great Wall was to keep away the Mongol hordes and other bandit, barbarian types that were threatening the heartland of China in its day. So, is it anything new? We hear all this rant and raving and talk about the Great Wall of Mexico, how we are going to build a wall. President Trump, part of his so-called agenda was to make the Mexicans, the state of Mexico, the Mexican country, to pay for this damn wall to keep their people on their side of it. Well, let's be honest, okay? Human ingenuity proves it over and over again, that there's no such thing as an impregnable wall. You can go under it, you can go over it, you can go through it, you can bluff your way past it, there are ends to a wall. So unless you intend to literally, physically encircle the entire country in a physical wall that includes the borders of Canada and the ocean, you're not likely to stop people from coming to the country. My wife's right. They're just going to go over it, they're going to go under it, they're going to go through it. Look at the drug cartels. I mean, there's the prime example why the walls don't work. The best wall is people. Those guys out there in the vehicles and the cameras and the guns and the horses and stuff that's patrolling the borders as best they can. But, don't be wrong, I'm not a big advocate of ranching up the money there and then having a huge army of people parked on the border, because even that is still not going to prevent people from coming over. Now, you really, truly have wanted to put an end to that shit? Should have stopped it. Let's look at your history books. We invaded fucking Mexico twice. We should have kept it. Simple thing. It'd be Mexican. There wouldn't be Mexico. There'd be additional states to the country, and we'd all be one people, because we're going to all be one people eventually anyway, because that's the way things are working. Same goes with Canada. Got nothing personal against the Canucks. It's a beautiful country, but you know what? When you were tenants of the English crown, and the English come down in 18 whatever, and took a swing at us for the second time, or in retaliation for us breaking away from them. Well, we ham-fistedly invaded parts of it and didn't do such a hot job, I acknowledge. But you know what? If we were determined to do so, y'all would be singing the American anthem. It is what it is. That is part of what makes this country what it is. I often wonder how different the world would be if we had a much more militaristic, mercantile mindset than what people think we do. If we actually had that attitude that a lot of our people think we do have. Whatever we take, we don't give back. I'm just saying, how much of the country, the world would be different if America puts their boot on it and never let go of it. I'm just saying, how many different problems would we have today, but we wouldn't have the same problems we have. They'd be different. So, can we build an effing wall? Sure, we can build an effing wall. We got portions of that so-called wall down there now. We've been building it for the last 15 years. It's nothing new. Going to make the Mexican government pay for it? Don't be stupid. You can't make another government do shit without a war. You can put what are you going to do? You're going to sanction them and stuff? They're too vital. Their economy and our economy is too intertwined. You can't do that. Besides, I don't want to call them an ally per se, but they're our good neighbors, and they're doing the best they can under trying circumstances, and their country has improved vastly. Much better country than it was 100 years ago, right? And then look at their problem. It's not. That's another thing we forget. A good chunk of the people that are coming over the border are not Mexicans in the first place. They're not from Mexico. They are from places further south. The Mexicans have the same problem we do. They're being flooded by a bunch of third world Central American countries who all speak Spanish with different accents, which we tend to gloss over because, it's like in America. Everybody talks about, well, we speak English, but you realize that we speak variants of English. We speak American. The English speak English. Meanwhile, within this huge country, we have accents. We have variants. So you can tell. I was surprised years ago when somebody once told me, well, you're from the Midwest. How do you know I'm from the Midwest? I didn't tell you that. So what are you talking? You have an accent. The hell I have an accent. What are you talking about? You're the one with the effing accent. I got no accent. I'm from the middle of the country. We have no accent. Now that's not true. Apparently not. We can't, from our perspective, we can't hear it. But I can tell you somebody's coming from the Northeast or from the Northwest or somebody coming from the South. Pretty damn distinctive, right? So apparently we have one too because we don't sound like they do. So we still speak the same language to some variant thereof. That's the problem. So you're going to build this wall, and then what? We're going to help the Mexicans build a wall across Panama. You know, going to help stop all these folks from El Salvador and Nicaragua and half dozen other little countries down there that are struggling from coming north. It's not going to happen. And then there's the maintenance part of it. You know, you're not going to maintain it. Let's talk about some of the famous walls in history. The Great Wall of China. It's a freaking landmark now, but it didn't stop the Mongol hordes from invading. It slowed them down, but it didn't stop them. And it was hideously expensive to maintain and protect. And that was one of its downfalls. The Berlin Wall. We had a wall between the West and the East, between the communists and the democratic countries of the world for a better part of 50 years. And it was as much a political wall as it was a physical wall. That people died. They had landmines. They had fences, guards, dogs, the whole 9 yards. And guess what? People still came over the damn thing. They came over it. They came under it. They came through it because they were desperate. They wanted to get to some place where they could have a safe life or at least an opportunity to take care of their own. And I can't fault these people for that shit. But the wall failed. It was an expensive endeavor on the part of the communists, and it was still ineffective, right? So there's your second great example of a failed concept when you talk about the Great Wall. Hadrian's Wall. Here's another ancient wall that the Romans built in northern England to protect them from the Picts or the descendants of the Scots and the Irish nut jobs that were up there that they just couldn't conquer. So they built a wall. Now it's a landmark. Barely. You can barely even find it, most of it, but it's there. It's failed. A failed endeavor. It didn't last. And they spent an awful lot of effort, time, and resources, and I guess it would be a big political coup of the day. And that's what this is now. It's just a political coup. This gives these political, social justice, whatever, these political justice warrior nut jobs a chance to, jump up and down on their milk crates and scream about, well, we told you, we can't do this and the injustice and la. Make another country pay for it. Get real. Get real. Don't be stupid. If we want something done, we got to do it ourselves. We pay for that crap. And even when we talk about making somebody else pay for it, at the end of the day, we pay for most of it. Look at most of the endeavors for the last 15, 20 years. We went to Iraq twice. Who do you think paid for most of it? Who sent most of their blood and the boots over there? It was us. Who paid for most of it? Us. We're still paying for it. $20 trillion of debt. You wonder why we're in debt. We're going to build another damn fiasco thing? Fuck that. Right? You want to do something? Let's build a super interstate down there. Let's tear the wall down. Let's open the damn borders up. And that's what we've been trying to do for 20 years. And they said, oh my God, we can't have that. We'll have that. Guess what? We got it now. We got it now. Talk about my hometown of Des Moines, Iowa. I went away for a while. I come back, and it's changed, radically changed. I mean, there are, in some of the areas where I grew up, where my family used to live, and they were, what they called white trash and lower east side brackets and stuff. Now it's full of ethnic diversity. And most of those white folks are either gone or moved out or, I don't know, somehow or another improved their life enough that they're no longer considered poor. The economy here is doing fairly well. The job market's the best I've seen it. Yet I'm still living in an RV. But hey, it is what it is. Social, political justice warriors, my ass. Building an effing freaking wall. What's wrong with you people? They're doing it over there in Israel. They're trying to wall off, the Palestinians from basically their native lands. There's another sore spot for everybody. No offense to the Jewish state. No offense to the Jewish state, but it's called the land of Palestine for a reason. These people and their ancestors have been living in those damn rocky ass hills since time began. History book's full of it. The Bible is full of it. And I'll grant you that a lot of the Jewish ancestors came from the same neck of the woods, so that kind of make you Palestinians too. I'm just saying, the Israelites and the Palestinians and stuff were tribes in the same neck of the woods. So it's no different than you see the Croatians and the Yahoos over there trying to whack each other for their entire history. You know, just deal with it. You know, if they want to have a damn Palestinian state, give them the damn Palestinian state. Let them fumble their way through the self-control like everybody else. What you're dealing with is you're trying to put everybody into a convenient basket. It doesn't work that way. Same thing goes with the so-called terrorists. There are terrorists and then there are terrorists. And some terrorists are basically, you know, poor freedom fighters, poor people trying to do their best to get a political agenda advanced that they can't get in any other form. Remember your history. That's how America got to be America, right? 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 Isn't that the truth? Ask Mother Britain. Didn't we put our boot in their ass? No, we used the Boston Tea Party as an excuse and a couple other excuses, but basically we got to the point where we were done with the monarchy system sticking their whatever up our backside and telling us what we could and couldn't do, and we stood our ground. And we fought them. We fought them hard, and we didn't just fight them in the field. We fought them in the theology, you know, in the boardroom and in the freaking on the soapbox and in public opinion. We also fought them with allies and friends that we sometimes forget, you know. And this, I'll be honest, the French helped us a big way. The French also had a political agenda of their own. They wanted to stick it to the damn Brits, and that's what they did. In the process, we benefited from it. This is how we got our start. This is how come we are what we are today. So, does that make it right or wrong? Depends on who you ask. At the end of the day, I think the right outweighed the wrong. But that's because we're the victors. So the Palestinians and the Israelis trying to build a wall to physically separate them. It's not that they're trying to put the Palestinians in a corner somewhere and wall them off so they'll die off or get forgotten. They're just tired of all these nuts coming across and blowing their people up. So they're trying anything they can to protect these people. And you know what? You're going to fail. That's the problem. That was the problem with 9/11. That was the problem with a lot of other things. We see it now more than we ever did. We got complacent. We got lucky that the terrorists and the nut jobs were busy overseas. Eventually, they figured out, well, they got to bring it here to cause more rust. And then half the damn terrorist stuff that's happened in the last 20 years is our own damn people for their own political agendas. You know, look at you know, the Oklahoma City bombing, for example. I mean, you think that's something new? It's not. Sad but true. It is the nature of the beast. Build your wall, and history's going to laugh at you. That's my 2 cents.